Are you coming to the tree?
Hey guys, it's Alexa and welcome back to Game Talk. It is episode 3 and the episode you guys have all been waiting for is Katniss Everdeen related to Lucy Gray Bard. There has been a lot of hype about the Hunger Games as the new movie, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, comes out November 13th, which is just like 40 days away. We finally got the trailers for the movie officially out, and I've actually made a video of me and my brother breaking down the trailer and talking about it. Make sure you guys go check that out. So, if you guys don't know what the Hunger Games are, the Hunger Games is a trilogy and with 3 parts: Hunger Games Catching Fire, and Hunger Games Mockingjay. And they came out with movies for these books a few, like 10 years back, and they are phenomenal. And Jennifer Lawrence stars as the main character, Katniss Everdeen. Suzanne Collins, the author of these books, came out with a prequel, which is called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and the movie for this is coming out this Thanksgiving, starring Rachel Ziegler as Lucy Gray Bard. So, I'm assuming if you're here, you probably know what the Hunger Games is. If not, I welcome you. Welcome to Game Talk, which is my talk show where I talk about my love for the Hunger Games. Now that the trailers have come out, a lot of people have been buzzing and starting to read the series and watch the movies for the first time, which I would encourage you to do it. If you haven't read the books but watched the movies, I would encourage you to watch the books. If you have read the books but haven't watched the movies, I would encourage you to watch the movies, because both of these are phenomenal. There has been a lot of rumors floating around. Is Lucy Gray Bard, one of the main characters in The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, related to Katniss Everdeen, the main character in the Hunger Games? Alright, oh my gosh, legit, right as I'm sitting here editing this video, there's a snake right there. It's a sign, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. There's a snake right there. Oh my goodness. A lot of people have been wondering if these two are related, for many reasons that we're going to discuss in this video. So, buckle your seatbelt and let's get on. Right off the bat, we see similarities between the two when Lucy Gray Bard in the new trailer bows just as the way Katniss did. Here's what that looked like. The audience in the exact same way that Katniss did, and not only the first movie, but also the second movie. This is obviously going over the books, but there will be spoilers for the film, so stay tuned. And spoiler alert right here. So much for watching Game Talk. I know some of y'all have been liking it. Also, make sure you subscribe if you want to see me quote the entire Catching Fire movie. I will do it. I really love the Hunger Games. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's an amazing storyline. Suzanne Collins did an amazing job. I find it very fascinating. I don't know. Just, yeah, I'm a big fan of it. Yeah, so, yeah. If you guys want to see more Game Talk episodes, make sure to subscribe and go ahead and click that like button if you like what I'm doing. If this theory is true, Lucy Gray would mainly be related to Katniss from her dad's side, and it would mean like Lucy Gray is Katniss's great-grandmother, which could obviously be true. We don't really get a good look on Katniss's dad because he died in a mining accident that they mention in the book and the movies. But we do see in the book on Katniss's mom's side, her mom and dad, who ran a mini hospital in the town of District 12. We obviously see the similarities between these two. One, they're both from District 12, they're both girls, and they both won their Hunger Games. But the similarities don't just stop there. As we know, Hunger Games take place in District 12 where Katniss Everdeen is from, and Lucy Greybird is also from, and she won the 10th annual Hunger Games, and Katniss won the 74th. But here is where this theory is a little confusing, is because in this book, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, President Snow, who we see later on in the Hunger Games, if you don't know, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is basically when President Snow, Coriolanus Snow, was like young in his life, and how got him to be president of Panem. So we obviously know in the book that that Coriolanus Snow kind of goes a little crazy and has like a whole moment where he just starts shooting the gun everywhere and just trying to destroy all the Mockingjays. Which I personally like Mockingjays. I think it'd be kind of cool. I wish they did exist. That would be pretty cool. Anyway, so in the book, we never addressed if Lucy Gray survived, and we don't know if she did. So if this theory is true, that would mean that Lucy Gray did survive the gun accident that happened with Coriolanus Snow, which we don't know is true. That's where I think this theory is a little confusing, because we truly don't know if she's alive, we don't know if she's dead. There's also been some talk that Lucy Gray is President Al McCoy, which I don't know if that's true, because that's possible. We don't know what happened to Lucy Gray, but there's no mention in the book if she survives, if she didn't, and we don't know in the Hunger Games if she did. There's no talk of Lucy Greybird in the Hunger Games, which makes sense because in this book, Dr. Gall, which we will see in the film, addresses that every single last copy of the 10th annual Hunger Games has been deleted and has never been shown again. Also, we know that Snow never mentioned his encounter with the Hunger Games, as he was the mentor to Lucy Greybird. She could have survived, but if this was the case, then she most likely could return to District 12 or went up south like she talked about with Snow, or went up to the north. Basically, we see hints of her, being alive and how she could be related to Katniss, because the Covey, her and the rest of the Covey would go up to this house up in the woods by the lake in the meadow. And we see that it's the same house that Katniss and Gale go to in the woods every Sunday. So that could obviously be true because, it's the same house. So Lucy Gray could be related to her dad and could have taught her dad the knowledge that she knows, and then her dad could have taught Katniss the knowledge. We see that both with how they both love plants. Lucy Gray was much a lover of plants, knew a lot about them, and knew a lot about snakes. And we see that in the Hunger Games that Katniss's dad had a book and taught her everything he knew about plants. And so we could, say that Katniss's dad knew all that he knew from Lucy Gray. But we don't know for sure. Also, Katniss is named after the plant, the Katniss root, that Lucy Greybird loved that plant and had a similar relationship to. She lived in the seam in District 12, and we see that her dad came from the seam in District 12, while her mom was in the city working at that hospital with her parents. Also, Suzanne Collins named Katniss after the Katniss plant because the leaves look like arrowheads, which we see with the bow and arrow. By the way, I actually know how to use a bow and arrow, and it's really fun. So, we know Lucy Gray knew a lot about this plant because Lucy Gray introduced the Katniss plant to Snow when they went on a trip to the lake in the meadow with the rest of the Covey. We see this in the book, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. We obviously see a lot of similarities in the books, which I talked about in the first episode of Game Talk when we reviewed the trailer, so go check that video out. There's a lot of mention of things that Katniss said. Obviously the bowing, they're both from District 12, they're both victors. They both are, but they do have both different personalities, in my point. They're both very clever, they're both kind of shy, but on Lucy Gray's side, she's very sneaky, she's very clever, she's very mysterious. She's all about the flirting game. She has her ways. People don't really know a lot about her. She's mysterious. Katniss, on Katniss' side, she's clever, she's smart, she's brave, she's strong, she's shy, she's all of these other things. And so we see some similarities, but overall they're very different personalities. It does make sense, because Lucy Gray could have passed on all of her knowledge towards her father, and her father could have passed all that knowledge down to Katniss. We also see that it could be possible that Lucy Gray shared this knowledge with her dad, being that the Covey went to the same meadow that Lucy Gray and the rest of the Covey went to the exact same meadow that we see Katniss go to in the books and the films, and that's where Katniss hunted, and that's where that house was that the rest of the Covey would go up to. In the book, it says that that's where Katniss's dad would take her to hunt and explore the woods.
Okay, I just wanted to pop here on here and say first, ignore my unicorn headphones. Second, ignore my voice. I'm editing right now. Editing me, just wanted to say that I'm sorry if my words are like so like spaced out. I don't know. I just kept mixing up my words. I kept forgetting what to say. I wrote the script and then completely. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my script. But I'm sorry because I was like, I was very, I'm just sorry if it's really bad.
One of the biggest theories in my mind is that Lucy Gray composed the Hanging Tree song, which we see Katniss had a very, very strong relationship to, as her dad taught her that song, and it appears many times in Mockingjay. And even in the film, Jennifer Lawrence, who plays Katniss Everdeen, sings that song as remembrance while they're down by the lake. I personally think this song is filled with mysteries. It's very confusing and full of ways that Lucy Gray explained her life, and I personally think that is a pretty good theory that Lucy Gray could be related to Katniss. Also, the similarities between the Mockingjays between the two, they both had a very, very strong relationship with Mockingjays and both loved it. We see it more in the Hunger Games when Katniss meets Rue and we see her relationship with Mockingjays grow, but right from the beginning, Lucy Gray always loved her little songbirds, she would call them. But we see with Coriolanus Snow, he hated those birds, and it was also a way that the girls toyed with Coriolanus Snow that kind of destroyed him.
Just wanted to say one of the biggest things, and this has nothing to do with issue related, but I just wanted to say is that Covey legit means a small flock of birds that travel from south to south. The Covey legit are mockingjays. They travel. They're not district. They're not capital. The Covey are mockingjays. I think that is so cool.
Legit. I don't know if this is making any sense. A very, very cool fact to me. But yeah. They are.
Which is how we do not know if Lucy Gray's alive, because in the book, this is how Lucy Gray tricked Coriolanus Snow in escaping the woods, or possibly could be dead, with mockingjays to help her hide, and Snow wasn't able to find them because they were mimicking her voice. Which later on in Panem's time, we see that the Mockingjay is a great symbol of rebellion, which is how Katniss was able to overthrow the Capitol and start this whole war. This is why I love these books, is because they're so full of secrets and unknown. We have no idea if Lucy Gray is alive or if she made it. Overall, every time I hear that song, The Hanging Tree, it gives me shivers. I don't know. I think that is probably one of the biggest theories in my mind, is how she composed The Hanging Tree. Not only did she love that song, she composed it, and that song. All it took was Katniss to sing that song that overthrew the Capitol and overall started the war. It turned everybody against Snow onto the Mockingjay and the rebellion. We see that it's crazy that both of these girls came and tried to take one character down, and it eventually worked. Lucy Gray started the battle, Katniss came to finish it. Also, one of the things that we see is Snow's personal relationship with Katniss that could, obviously shows his affection towards Lucy Gray. As we see that in Catching Fire, Snow yells at Katniss, telling her to not lie, and they promised each other that they would never lie to each other, which is how he met his fate with Lucy Gray. He kept secrets from her, kept a lie, and that eventually turned him against her, and we don't know what happened. That's how it ruined his relationship. So we see that he has a very, this is another reason why I love it, because we see his relationship grow with Katniss. Katniss reminds Snow so much of Lucy Gray, and we see that when Snow promises her that they would never lie to each other, because he doesn't want to lose Katniss in the same way he lost Lucy Gray. Obviously, we see that Katniss reminds Snow a lot of Lucy Gray, as they both wanted a rebellion, they both liked the Moche, they both started hanging tree, they both wanted to take Snow down. We see it in so many ways that affected Snow in so many ways. And that's why I'm very excited to see how they did in the movie, and I cannot wait to see it. Cannot wait. Because this will actually be the first Hunger Games I've actually seen in theaters, because when these came out, I was only 1 year old. Because it came out in 2012, and I was born in 2012. Cared about a District 12 girl unless you met Katniss, because they both won, and they both overthrew the Capitol and overtook Snow. The whole reason Lucy Gray betrayed Snow and tried to kill him is because she realized that Snow had lied to her, which is why he doesn't want to lose Katniss like that. We of course see when he faces another District 12 female victor that he has a soft spot for, he promises never to lie. We're forced into the arena with the rigged reaping. We see it with Katniss' side, as she volunteered for her sister Prim to save her life. And then later on had to go back into the arena, which all she was trying to do was save her sister. Then we see on Lucy Gray's side, as her past love interest Billy Tarp had a thing for the mayor's daughter Mayfair Lip, and Mayfair made her dad, the mayor, draw Lucy Gray's name out of the bowl and make her go into the Hunger Games, so that she could be with Billy Tarp.
And in Catching Fire, Snow rigged the 75th Annual Hunger Games so that Katniss would have to go into the arena.
So it could be possible that all of the knowledge that Lucy Gray knew passed down to her dad, that passed down to Katniss, that they could be related. However, I personally don't think that theory is true, because I personally think that Katniss might be related to Lucy Gray's cousin, Maude Ivory. Lucy Gray had this cousin named Maude Ivory, and she loved her. It was almost like her relationship. Lucy Gray loved Maude Ivory as much as Katniss loved Prim, which we see their relationship there. But we obviously know that Maude Ivory probably survived after Lucy Gray maybe passed. But Lucy Gray shared everything she knew down to Maude Ivory. She showed her the songs that she wrote, and we even see this in the book that she said so that Maude Ivory all she needs is one song. All she needs is to hear it one time, and she'll remember it for forever. So, possibly, since we do not know if Lucy Gray survived, I think it would make more sense if they're related for it to be from Maude Ivory's side, as we see all the knowledge that Lucy Gray knows was passed down to Maude Ivory because she shared everything with Maude Ivory. So, it could be possible that Maude Ivory, the cousin of Lucy Gray Bard, is the great-grandmother of Katniss Everdeen. We also know that Maude Ivory knows about the house and the lake and the meadow, as we see in the book, that Lucy Gray would take her there with the rest of the Covey. We also know that Lucy Gray would sing the song Deep in the Meadow to Maude Ivory, as we see that relationship with the Hunger Games, as Katniss would sing that song to her sister Prim. And we obviously know that if Lucy Gray didn't survive, Maude Ivory would know about that song and probably passed it down to her dad, who passed it down to Katniss, who passed it down to Prim. And eventually in the Hunger Games, we see that Katniss sang that song to Rue as she was dying. This could have disturbed Snow because he had heard Lucy Gray sing that song several years ago, and then he's now seeing Katniss sing that song. Which is why I personally think the Bard and the Covey are related to Katniss. It would be much more on Maude Ivory's side, because we do not know if Lucy Gray survived. Even if we did know if Lucy Gray survived, we don't know what happened to her, because she could have escaped from District 12 or could have returned. And we honestly don't even know if she was related, which is why I love the Hunger Games, because it's full of mysteries. But personally, on my side of things, I think it makes much more sense for Katniss to be related to Maude Ivory, but we don't know if that's even true. But to me, it makes more sense for Maude Ivory to be the great-grandmother of Katniss, but we don't know if that's true, but it does make a lot of sense. So it could be true, it could not. I'm still making up my mind. But overall, that's my thoughts. I think it makes much more sense for Katniss to be related to Maude Ivory than her to be related to Luce Gray, because we do not know Luce Gray's fate.
Let me know in the comments below.
Let me know in the comments below what you think. Is she related to Luce Gray? Is she related to Maude Ivory? I really want to know your thoughts on it. Remember, this is just my thoughts. So, and overall, if you've read the books, we see much more similarities, and I actually shared a lot about those similarities in episode 1, so go check that out, because I share a lot more odds is Luce Gray related to Katniss in that video. So, also there has been some talk about Luce Gray being Alma Coin, and I'm going to do another episode on that, which will be in episode 5 of Game Talk. Episode 4 would be another video, which I'm not going to tell you guys because it's a secret. Well, you guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Game Talk. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts on this theory. This is my thoughts, so I'm not going to say anything else except this is what I personally think. I'm super duper 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 excited for to watch this movie. And remember, I post every single week. I love you guys around the world and back. Make sure you guys subscribe if you want to see me quote the whole Catching Fire movie. I love you guys around the world and back, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye! See ya! Mwah! Thank you guys so much for watching Game Talk, and if you liked it, please subscribe, because I'm going to do lots more episodes of Game Talk. Bye!